Art of Relationships radio show is copyrighted. No one is to use any part of the show without express written consent from myself, Greg Dzinski, or the Art of Relationships. Thank you.
Welcome to the Art of Relationships radio show. Greg has been a relationships expert guest host on numerous radio shows. He promises that this show is for you and to help listeners become more fulfilled, healthier, and happier in your relationships and lives. Licensed relationship and sex counselor Greg Dzinski, the Art of Relationships radio show will cover crucial elements in rebuilding emotional and physical intimacy, plus help in reigniting the passion in your romantic relationships. He also welcomes live calls from listeners in helping with these very challenges. No more tit-for-tat arguments. Greg gets to the root of couples' challenges in a rapid, matter-of-fact format, plus applies compassion and humor. Join in discovering how to improve your romantic relationship and your own life. Listen, laugh, and grow happier. Greg is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Michigan. To others, he's simply known as Master G.
Welcome, everybody, to Wednesday Hump Night. This is Greg Dzinski, your host, coming to you live, actually from my office, and streamed through also Podcast Detroit. Want to give a huge plug out to them, Podcast Detroit. Also, they did a review in the local Detroit news, and I posted on my Facebook, I can't remember, 4 days ago, give or take. And top one out at 300,000 listeners a week, which is very cool on Podcast Detroit Network, which is awesome. I might have, out of that 300,000 listeners, I probably have two. That means not 200,000. That means two listeners, period. No, I hope a lot more than that. I have to check I got to check my stats, too. I haven't checked in a while what my stats are going on. I appreciate everybody talking about the show, excuse me, and sharing all the insights and everything, discussions I have going on Facebook, some other writings, and my blog and everything, too. So a huge props out to everybody else. That's been helping out, a huge supporter of the show. And for those out there that want a cheap advertising avenue for your business, online business, whatever, it is an awesome opportunity for you to reach literally hundreds of thousands of people per week. Not only in the Metro Detroit area, we're talking worldwide. Not only North America, but worldwide as well. So it's a terrific avenue to reach a ton of listeners out there as well, okay? Listeners, but bring in potential customers into your business too. So you can give me a shot at Greg at the Art of Relationships let me back up a little bit. Greg at the Art, A-R-T, of Relationships.org. And you can also check out information on www.theartofrelationships.org as well. And there's a link to the radio show link and advertising packages as well. I want to welcome new listeners to everybody else again. Normal listeners are normal. I don't know if any of the listeners are normal, but regular, there we go. Regular listeners, they know this, and new listeners out there, you can give me a call live on air, 313-614-9498. Again, number is 313-614-9498. And you can also join me on the live chat. If you are using Art of Relationships radio show's own mobile device app, and also or Spreaker's app or Spreaker.com, and you can join me on live chat. Again, No names will be mentioned unless you give me permission. If you do hear me mention, maybe people that are listening to the show and participating in live chat, and I mention their names, it's because they already gave me permission to use their names a while ago. So, again, I'm not being rude. It's just giving insights as far as, confidentiality and respecting your privacy aspect. So not being rude at all. Join me in a live chat or give me a call live, 313-614-9498. And why don't we jump right into it? We're talking, I want to give a plug out to individual. I don't know this individual. His name is Damian Bollier, Bohler. Again, name is Damian Bohler, Bohler, who come up with this article about conscientious women. And I read the article, and it's really, actually has some really good insights into it. Thus, I'm talking about it. So I can't take a lot of credit, but I want to put my twist on this about what it takes to be. He originally come up with to be a conscious woman. And I'm like, huh? Conscious woman. And I'm talking, in my video, I talk about this, about advertising for the show and everything, that a conscious woman, does this mean that she's awake when you make love, when you're having sex to her, or when you're talking to her? She's conscious, alert? I don't know. So, I was looking at, a conscientious woman, or what about, I want to tie it in, not only a conscientious woman, which, comes with compassion, caring, understanding, but also I want to sort of combine that. Maybe a better term would be a confident woman. And as I mentioned, I mentioned to my clients, couples, you name it, students, Facebook, all over the place, okay, about a confident woman or a confident person in nature. They're able to look at themselves. They're able to self-reflect and look at their mistakes. They're able to look at, maybe, take responsibility. If they messed up, then, that's fine. They can own it, take responsibility. You know what? It's my fault. I apologize. I'm sorry. And they're able to look at that. A confident person is able to make amends and take responsibility for their mistakes. So, when I read through the article and everything about what his definition of he had 12 definitions or aspects of what a conscious woman is. But I want to flip it up a little bit, and I changed it to conscientious and, and confident woman. What that entails. And I want to talk about later on in the show, we're going to get into, a wedding or a marriage. What the hell do those mean? Being married or being wedded to somebody, are they the same aspects? And I want to put, of course, my sort of smart-ass comic, if you will, twist on those aspects. And I can't believe that. I shared a post on my Facebook as well. If you want to check it out on my page, Greg Dudzinski, that's Dudzinski, and I posted, I can't believe the frickin' feedback. See, I do a piece that's sort of, serious, heartfelt, and I get, so replies, reaction. And I post a picture of a lady in her bra and panties, and holy crap, man, everybody comes out of the woodwork, women, guys, whatever. And it was, the comment was on the picture was, does it mean, when a woman has a matching bra and panties on, is that mean she is ready for sex? She is the one that is demanding sex. And we're going to get into that a little bit. I couldn't believe the feedback and all this stuff. And my take on that was, I don't care if the bra and panty matches, it's what's inside, right? No. Uh-oh, typical man, right? No, not at all. But, it doesn't matter. Some women say they don't leave the house unless, they're matching. And a lot of responses, oh, my God, my bras and panties, they got to match what my clothes are wearing and everything else. And we all know of women out there that maybe they're looking for attention. Ooh. And how many ladies would be in this category where, we all know or saw women, maybe it's just my imagination, where they wear that white sort of see-through a little bit, maybe more like a peekaboo blouse, and she has maybe a pink bra underneath of it, a red bra underneath of it, and it's like, what the? And it's like, she wants attention. Or is she just a tease? So I want to get into that. And if we have enough time to get in there with the show, we'll get into that a little more. If not, I'll pick it up on next week's show along with some more details. First of all, I hope everybody's having a very, very safe holiday weekend. I know I had a relative that, unfortunately, they're older and cancer. I had a relative that lost 2 brothers, since Thanksgiving. So in about a month, actually it was a month, that she lost 2 brothers. So my wishes go out to them big time from cancer. So that's not a good situation. And people that are having a hard time going through grief and loss situations, please, you can listen to my recorded show on, grief and loss and getting through the holidays when you're missing somebody out there. It's a difficult time for a lot of people, okay? I hope everybody's having a good holiday, being safe out there. My wishes go out to all the people down south too that lost family members in tornado aspects in the wicked weather down there. So I hope everybody is being safe and being able to grieve and mourn peacefully, if there is such a way. So my heart and my deep wishes go out to those people as well. Now, I want to get into maybe stir it up a little bit. I want to hear what it takes for you to be a conscious or maybe conscientious or a confident woman. And I'm going to put my twist on. Like I said, I want to give credit to gentleman's name who come up with this is Damian Bohler, Bohler. I want to give him props for coming up with this. And I read this, he mentioned about, 12 qualities of the conscious woman. And I didn't really, he should have come up with something else, okay? That, I'd rather have conscientious. Is there a difference between conscientious? Conscientious, to me, is more fitting. I like the word confident, whatever, because a confident woman also can be very compassionate, very understanding. She also can be very empathetic to others around her, as well as the world around her, whatever, that she, she's able to care about maybe, animals, the planet, maybe cares about what's right in the world, and maybe doesn't dwell on all the bad, all the negativity, whatever, is aware of it, but is able to move forward and be able to continuously, grow as a person. And it's not, he used the word stagnant, and I like that word, stagnant or stuck, and they stop growing. And this can go for men too, but hitting on the women. Maybe do a show about men too, and I'll come up with my own philosophies as far as maybe being a conscious or conscientious man. And is there any different? With me, a lot of people, if you're listening to the show or have listened to the show in the past, you know my philosophy that I'm not a big fan of gender stereotypes. Yeah, there are some that are true, okay, where men compartmentalize better than women mentally. Now, I've done a few shows about that, and I'll get on that later on. I also mentioned that huge, actually, I think there's a chapter in my book about it, about disbeliefs, that there are huge, what do I want to say, about getting rid of gender stereotypes, right? And looking at the individual person, looking at how you view yourself as a man, how you view yourself as a woman. That's what matters, not about the socialized stereotypes. But anyways, we'll get into the conscientious men another time. Let's hit on the conscious, okay? Let's hit on the conscientious women, okay? Here we go. Now, are we going to touch on, okay, here we go here. We are going to hit on, what it takes to be a conscientious woman, and tie in with confidence as well. Like I mentioned, my view on conscientious woman, she is able to, care about other people, is empathetic, is also strong, confident, able to speak her mind, and also be respectful, and able to check herself. If she does mess up, if she does make a mistake, she is able to own it, take responsibility of that. Another aspect with the conscientious woman tied in with the confident woman, this does not mean, ladies, and I have worked with hundreds of women, I might say thousands of women over the years I've been doing this, that, what do I want to say? That, they'll take the hit for everything. They'll be, I'm sorry, it's my fault. I'm sorry. What I'm talking about, being a doormat, and they're taking responsibility for stuff that is not their fault. I don't want women, and being a conscientious woman conscientious and confident woman is taking responsibility when that is justified, right? Ladies, don't take that out of context with me, right? And don't tell me, well, it's only, justified, it's only justified in your eyes. And, don't tell me, well, if it wasn't justified, then, you know what? Oh, well, in my eyes it is. So you hit on this, and you look at the elements, that, oh, yeah, I was justified for this, right? I'm sorry, but how many people do that, right? I apologize, but I apologize. Although you made me, you know what? It's taking ownership and taking responsibility. You know what? If I screwed up, that's it. Confident women, they will not, or should not, I should say, and should not take responsibility for hitting up on, everything's their fault. No, that is not a confident woman, right? And that's what I mean. I want to tie this in with, Damian Buller's work in, about 1 dozen qualities of the conscious woman. Again, I don't care for the title of the conscious, but his concepts are pretty cool, and I want to run them down and put my twists on them as well, okay? Hey, Shauna, welcome. Nice seeing you. It's been a while. Hopefully everybody down there in, I can't remember if you're in the southern part of Texas or not. And hopefully you're safe and you didn't get the wicked tornadoes and everything else that your fellow states people got. I mentioned a little bit ago, my deepest wishes to everybody out there that lost family members in the horrific storm. So, and like I mentioned, if you're new to the show and you're on live chat, or you are, calling in, I'm not going to ask your name unless you give me permission, okay? Unless you give me permission to say your name. I respect your privacy and everything else, so I'm not being rude. I'm just, respecting your privacy and everything else, okay? So we are going to go through, and I want to hear everybody out there that, looks at what does it take? Oh, hey, Daryl, thank you. Welcome to the show. We got a new listener. I want to give props out to Sean on that, too. Thanks for cluing Daryl in. Welcome, and you both are in Texas. I know Shauna mentioned, refresh my memory, in Houston area, which is down south, and I don't know if you guys, were hit with the tornado areas. I know it was wicked all down there. Bridge City, Texas. Daryl, I have no idea where the hell that is. If that's, outside of Houston by Shauna or not. But welcome. So, Damian Butler, I'm going to talk up, conscientious, confident woman is attentive, she has attentive patience to the growth process. This is what he mentioned. What the hell does this mean? I think a lot of, conscientious women, they hit on, some women want to hit on, they want to grow, hurry up, get this, hurry up, get married, have a kid, da-da-da-da-da. They might want to hurry up and run and all this. A conscientious woman is aware that she wants to grow. She wants to, be able to grow and evolve as a person. But she also understands, it takes time, that there might not be a rush in being able to grow and evolve, and being able to understand it might be okay where you are now and being okay with that, but that doesn't mean you become stagnant and you stop growing as a person. You know what? And, I'm glad. I want to go back to Daryl and Shauna on live chat. My apologies, everybody else out there. No, that's good. I'm glad you guys are safe. Just a lot of wind and rain and cold and all this stuff down there. So I'm glad you guys didn't get hit like the northern part of Texas and stuff that got hit. So that's glad. Many props and peace to you guys. So, going back there, attentive patience to the growth process, why? That not only they have patience being able to grow. Remember I said about women are able to grow and evolve, and I'm all about that, not being stuck, not being stagnant, and looking at the elements to where God, what the hell do I want to say? You know what? This is how I am. I've heard so many people, I'm 40 years old, I'm 50 years old, this is the way I am, I ain't going to change. And I look at them and I say, yep, you're absolutely right. You're not going to change. And I laugh about it. It's sad because they have no clue. Or maybe they don't want to grow. They don't want to evolve. So a conscientious woman is all about growing. Maybe becoming a better person, a better partner, better spouse, better, whatever, friend, better mother, better, coworker, whatever it is. And like I said, women are going to listen to the show and call in. I know Shauna is getting ready to jump on it. I know men. We're going to get on men on a different show. And men can pay attention to this too and maybe learn from this as well as the ladies, right? But the conscientious woman is able to evolve and grow and be able to look at, I'm going to be a better person, and what can I do maybe on a daily basis, but also have the patience enough to cut herself some slack. And during the evolution period and being able to grow, she has patience and also has self-awareness and compassion for herself, because if she does mess up, you know what? It's okay that she's human. She's confident enough to understand, you know what? I screwed up, but I can move on, and to be able to do that. Daryl, I want to chime in on a chat that goes along with this, okay? Daryl mentioned, I don't see how a woman could be conscientious without being capable of admitting their mistakes. Otherwise, they aren't learning from their experience. I would think a woman would lose confidence. Daryl, you know what? That's an awesome take on that. And I agree with you, because if they're not able to admit their mistakes, for one thing, they're not confident. Or if they actually believe they don't make any mistakes, that's narcissistic and they're basically full of shit. And, that's with men too. But like I said, the men, we'll get on that another show. And Shauna knows I'm all about not bashing. I'm all about ripping on men or making men hold up their part of the bargain too. It's not I'm an equal basher, if you will, equal opportunity basher, if you will, to be able to call men out as well. And I agree, Daryl, very much. A conscientious woman is able to take responsibility, and I completely agree with you. That's exactly what I'm saying, is the conscientious woman is able to admit their mistakes and to be able to move on. A lot of people, they might not admit it, but you mentioned, they aren't learning from their experience. I agree, big time. But a lot of people might admit them, but they keep repeating them. And I get in my office here, in Detroit area and stuff, and I get people private messaging me and stuff on Facebook and everything too. I need to start charging so I can make money and not be poor. And the elements of that are, a woman might lose confidence and all that, but she also, and when you mention about, not maybe taking responsibility, admitting their mistakes, she might not lose confidence because it might be that type of thing, Daryl, out of sight, out of mind, if you get me, right? Oh, I'm not admitting my mistake. They don't happen, so it's not going to affect my confidence at all because I didn't make any, oh, Daryl, damn it, you're getting a glass of wine. You should have brought me one, too. Anyways, no. Shauna mentioned, on live chat as people. You can join us on live chat as well or call me live. Call me live at 313-614-9498. Again, 313-614-9498. You can join us on live chat on the Art of Relationships radio show on mobile device apps for Android and Apple. The Android device, you might have to look up my name, Greg Dudzinski, Dudzinski. You can also join live chat. I can't live. Glad I can say it. Join us on the live chat. If you use Spreaker.com, then search for my name, Greg Dudzinski, the Art of Relationships radio show, or I think you can also search, I haven't said it in a while, Master G. Anyways, that was a nickname given by me by a radio show out of Connecticut for people, and I already explained that story. Anyways, but Shauna mentioned, I 100% agree with Daryl. She loses confidence. She seeks affirmation elsewhere because she can't face who she wronged. Shauna, that's some great insights because a lot of people, they do that. They might not have the confidence enough to admit their mistake. So what happens? Oh, great. Shauna's on the Hennessy. Oh, you know what? That's a big thing up here in Detroit, too. Not just for your southern folk. Southern folk. Oh, boy. But you're looking at, I agree, that, she loses confidence, and so she'll seek affirmation out there elsewhere, because if somebody know you made a mistake and now you're facing that issue, it's almost like dealing with, and that's where I say about the confidence and the maturity level comes in, emotional maturity level. It's almost like a little kid that makes a mistake, right? You're not going to narc on yourself. You're going to hide, try to cover it up, whatever. And I think it starts happening, whatever. So it's almost like, if I use the analogy, like the dog sort of tucking its tail between its legs and lowering its head when it knows it did something wrong. Like if it accidentally took a dump in the house or chewed on a shoe, whatever, and you look at it, tail goes between the leg and they sort of shrivel up, cower and type of thing, whatever. And it's almost that type of thing. So if you are constantly reminded of your mistake, you are going to look at the situation to where what Shauna said, and I agree with her, that maybe you don't want to be faced with that and you sort of cower, but then you want that affirmation, you want that attention, you start looking for somewhere else because it's easier, and also the same pattern's going to repeat with that. So as far as, a conscientious woman, I agree. She's able to be confident enough to admit when she's wrong, but she's also not willing, oh my God, my voice, sorry people. She's also not willing to take the hit or take, the blame for stuff that she didn't do wrong. So she isn't the doormat. Got it? She isn't the doormat. She isn't going to be say, oh, it's always my fault, dear. It's my fault, dear. You're late for work. It's my fault. And it's not that she is going to take the hit for everything. No, she's going to be able to be confident enough to know the difference. So that's going to be a huge thing about being a conscientious woman, okay? That's a huge thing. So we have a bunch more to go through. I am going to take a little breather. Oh, my God, and hopefully my voice comes back from puberty real soon. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for listening, people. This is the Art of Relationships radio show coming to you live from Detroit. Talk to you soon. If you're looking for that unique, cool fashion statement, check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. She has hand-painted, hand-designed canvas shoes for you, your loved one. It's an inspirational piece unique to your own taste. Check out Shoes by Shay on Facebook. Again, that's Shoes by Shay on Facebook.
Who your daddy? Who your daddy? Come on, big girl. Tell me who your daddy.
I got the right shot, come on. Who's your daddy? Oh. Talk to me, mama. I think I know just what you want, but I still don't know who your daddy might be. Are you one of them kind with your lunch look on? Are you one of them kind closer to your peace of mind? Living on the other side of the line. Well, come on, baby. Well, let's be funky. I got the right time. Come on. Who's your daddy? Talk to me, mama. I think I know just what you want, but I still don't know who your daddy might be.
She's sitting on the dirt-ridden floor in her formal wear, and with one look, I swear she kills me. She's loud as hell, an embarrassment, one crazy bitch, but she's lovely and she's addictive. My nicotine, the one from my dreams in the morning, and she's vindictive. She makes me wish that girls like this came with warnings, and we drive each other absolutely insane. But it would be a crime for us to stay away. So I say, come here, can I have this dance? Is there room for romance in this spiteful little connection? Will you take my hand and we can pretend that there will never ever be any problem? 'Cause when I look into her eyes, this dance? Is there room for romance in this spiteful little connection? Will you take my hand and we can pretend? So I say, come in. Can I have this dance? Is there room for romance in this spiteful little connection? Will you take my hand and we can pretend that there will never ever be any problem? 'Cause when I look into her eyes, I forget them. And when she spins into the light, I regret them. Pretend that everything is fine, I'll correct them. Oh, can I have this dance?
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Greg Jasinski, a.k.a. Master G. Don't ask. Oh, boy. Like I mentioned, we got a few individuals on chat. I know there's quite a few listening live, which is cool, and we could have more people in the chat room. That would be super sweet. Or you can call me live as well. Sorry, at 313-614-9498. Oh, my God, what's with my voice this evening, people? I apologize. Hopefully it won't be that bad. For those individuals that might be new on the live chat, like I mentioned, or if you call me, I will not mention your name to protect your privacy as well, okay? If you give me permission to mention you, then I will do that. But if not, that's okay. I'm not being rude. I'm just, like I said, I'm being respectful. Yes, I am respectful once in a while to your privacy, whatever. But if you give me props or give me, I shouldn't say props, give me individual to, or give me permission to use your name, excuse me, then I will do so. If not, no worries, okay? I won't mention your name at all. So we're talking about it right before the first break. We talked about the elements to where, being a conscientious woman. In an article I'm going off of, well, now we're all over the place, about being a, conscientious woman is talking about was from Damien Bohler, Bohler, and he originally mentioned our title, 1 Dozen Qualities of the Conscious Woman, and I don't like that title, you know what, or the term conscious, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's like, okay, conscious meaning what, she's awake when you're having sex, when you're making love, whatever, she's conscious or she's listening to you, she's awake. So, I sort of flipped it up a little bit, put conscientious and tie it in with the confident, woman aspect. And we mentioned, about being able, Daryl and Shauna and stuff mentioned, a little bit, and I agree about when I mentioned about conscious woman is able to take responsibility when she messes up, when she makes a mistake, whatever. She is not going to, I've been with a few women, not a lot. Hold on, people. What I mean by not a lot of women that never apologize for anything. I can't remember them apologize. I've been with maybe 1, 2, 3. Never mind. Get the calculator out. Count your fingers and toes. No, that only a few that have never apologized. Never apologize for anything. I've been with a few, and I'm sure women have been with men that never apologize as well. Or, it doesn't matter. I say men, women, whatever. To me, as people know, listen to the show, I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, whatever. I'll say men, women, or partner once in a while. If you're new listening to the show, to me, it doesn't matter. I respect whatever, whatever makes you happy, you as an individual, I respect that. So when I say, I don't mean to be derogatory when I say man, woman, to maybe people, listeners out there that are, maybe bisexual or, lesbian or gay, not at all. I'm not trying to be rude whatsoever. But you look at this, that, Daryl just mentioned about being humble. Shauna, I apologize for the men I've been with. What'd you do? Treat them like shit, Shauna? Anyways, you can join us on the live chat. We got a few individuals on live chat, which is cool. You can join them on the show, the Art of Relationships radio show's own mobile device app on Spreaker.com or Spreaker's own app, and just search for the Art of Relationships radio show, or my name, Greg Dudzinski, Dudzinski, and you can give me a call too, 313-614-9498. And again, as I mentioned, and I post this on Facebook, it does not matter what the topic of the show is for the evening. You can ask any questions or give me insights or input to any, relationship topic or sexual topic that you want me to maybe give my insights on. Like I said, I'm a smart ass. People that know me, I'm a smart ass. I'm very down to earth, very humble, and everything else. So no, I do not know everything. As I mentioned about the conscientious women, I too am, I'm always evolving, always growing, always wanting to learn, and I will learn and evolve until I croak. So we look at that. Daryl, you mentioned, to me as a man, it feels good to take responsibility for a mistake, to humble yourself and learn from your mistakes. Daryl, absolutely. I agree right now. Oh, thanks, Daryl. You were live right now on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you so much. I try to hit on those right before the show as well. Daryl, I appreciate it. Many, many, many thank you and many props. I am flattered. Thank you. I agree. It's part of humility is part of being confident, Daryl, and I agree with you huge when it comes to that. And that's what we're talking about. The conscientious woman is able to admit her mistakes and be able to humble and have humility for herself, and maybe also not only that, but also understand that, having maybe understanding other people. And that's where we're talking about the growth process and being able to focus on, humanity and being able to focus on humility, that you aren't going to crucify somebody else. And it's not about, that you're looking at. How many people know women? Like I said, we're going to hit on men in another topic, but we can bring men into this too. But that know people that just look out for the bad in other people, that they just rip on other people. They're never wrong. They always point out the negativity and the bad things about people. They're just ripping on people, and they're not nice people. And what's the word I'm looking for? Why should I hold back? You know why? That they can be a bitch about the aspect, okay? And you look at that they're not nice. That is not being a conscientious or confident woman. I think that's being fake. And a confident woman is able to be compassionate and to be able to look at the dynamics where, I'm human too. And I understand other people are human too. So I think that is a huge dynamic that cuts across being a conscientious woman, not only taking, responsibility. And again, like, mentioned during the break, Daryl and I were chatting a little bit about, when you take the hit for everything and everything is your fault, it isn't. We need to help you get the confidence enough to maybe you can be more of a conscientious woman within yourself, and to be able to, this ain't my fault. Why am I saying sorry for something that he did? Why am I saying sorry for something my friend did, my partner did, my whatever? That you're taking responsibility for everything, and that's not being true confidence, and that's not really being a conscientious woman as well. It's being able to be humble and taking the responsibility when you can, but also having the strength and having the confidence to say, you know what? I didn't do anything wrong here, and you know what? Peace out. If you want me to take the blame for something I didn't do, I'm all about being confident, taking a stand for yourself. It's when you never take. It's when you're taking a stand for everything, and you never are at fault. It's borderline arrogance and narcissistic aspects, okay? And, yeah, Daryl mentioned, you're right. It's like, you're saying sorry, but not really knowing what you are sorry for. A conscientious woman is not afraid of confrontation. Not that she likes it. There's a big difference. But that she is, we might have a caller. Hey, is this Shauna?
This is Shauna.
Hey, sweet. Can you hear me?
I can.
I can't even talk tonight, Shauna. I apologize. I haven't even drank anything either. Maybe that's a problem.
That's probably the problem.
Hopefully, I want to, Daryl, can you hear Shauna? Hopefully everybody could. What's going on? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I just wanted to kind of talk about what you're talking about.
Please. Uh-oh. Shauna, that was you. Can you, I don't know if that was me or you. I'll call you back, Shauna, and see if I can get you.
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was my end. Oh, still there? Uh-oh. Oh, thanks for answering to those in chat. I have no idea what the heck's going on, people. I don't know if shouldn't be my end. I think everything's okay. So I don't know what's going on, if it's from the storms from her end or not. So hopefully, Shauna, if you are listening to the show, you can give me a call back, and hopefully everything will work okay. I apologize for that. I'll try calling you back maybe one more time, too, okay? And I don't know if it's my end. Nope, call us. Here we go, that's why. Hey, Shauna, you back?
I'm back.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if it's my end or what's going on, but I apologize. See, I'll take the hit since it's my end, my show. I'll take responsibility and be the man. I'll be the man. Spank me, please. No.
I was just going to say that, I've been on both sides of this, where I was a young, stupid wife that I didn't know any better, and I was jealous and not very conscious of what, was going on in my life or my marriage. And I think I had a big, huge part in destroying my marriage, even though my marriage was ultimately destroyed for infidelity on his part.
Sorry to hear that.
My decision not to go, along with everything that was going on. But now that I've grown up as a woman, I respect a man and also respect and love myself enough to know that if I'm with someone, it's obviously going to be someone that I trust. And I love myself, and I'm conscious and confident enough about myself that I'm not worried about what he's doing or where he's at or where he's going or any of those things. So it makes it easier for him to be a man and to go do what he needs to do and have the freedom and then not to have the stress of worrying about when he comes home, is he going to be in trouble because he stayed too long with the guys or, whatever.
Sweet.
And so I think being a conscious woman, you are conscious of yourself and your abilities as a woman, your not just your looks, but and whenever you're conscious with just your looks, I think you become kind of manipulative if you don't have anything to add to that, any substance. And that's your fault if you don't, if you haven't taken responsibility and taken ownership of whatever gifts or abilities or whatever it is that you have as a woman that are anything other than looks. And so whenever you have the whole package, and I'm not saying that I do, I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I'm saying
you are, Shauna.
No. Whenever you do, whenever you have tried to, whenever you've but I've done the homework and the autopsy on myself enough to say, okay, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to do this, I need to do that to better myself personally, professionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. And so by doing all of those things, you become this conscious woman that, you're okay with yourself, so you're okay with everybody else as well.
Huge
and when you're in a relationship, you give the guy the freedom to go and do what he needs to do to be a man, because men really need that freedom. They need that connection. They need that trust. They need that adoration. They need that love and that connection. And in order for them to love you and be faithful and honest and truthful and love only you, then they need you to make them feel like a king. And the only way you can do that as a woman is if you're conscious enough with yourself and and confident enough in yourself that you know who you are and what you have to offer him and what you bring to the table. And so that's just too much for me to type on the chat, so I had to call in.
No, I appreciate that. That was very well said, Shauna. Extremely well said. Very wise. I agree. I think that has to be a part for women, too. Women need to understand that they, being conscious, like you said, doing work on yourself and everything, which I think it's very cool that, you also deserve the same recognition, the same aspects, because, you have men out there, too, that are also very jealous, very controlling, and you need to be able to put a stop to that or not deal with that as well. Now, if a man is giving you reason to be jealous or to always check whatever, I always check, with couples, I always ask, what is he doing, or what are you doing to make her jealous, or what are you doing to make him jealous, type of thing. And if they say, oh, nothing really, okay, now we have to work on building, the other individual's self-esteem aspects up. But if it is justifiable why they're on edge or why you would be checking or worried if they're late, whatever, you know what, then that needs to stop. And that's that your partner taking responsibility and looking at, what, it's my bad. You know what, I'm maybe given reason for her or him not to trust or even put doubt in my lover's mind. I need to step back and look at myself, and that's cool. Very, very wise words, Shauna.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though. Whenever, my last relationship was about over a year and a half ago. I haven't been in a relationship since. And he was very jealous, very just a horrible, horrible monster type person. And he was a rebound relationship, and that's the key right there, is that women and men, if you're a healthy person, then you have to be careful what you attract. You normally will attract what you are, but sometimes you attract lower than you, simply because you don't want to wait for what's better. And that's the problem right there, is that you're in a hurry, you're desperate, you're in that need to connect with someone right away, you're in a rebound, whatever it is that you are, and you stoop down lower than yourself, whatever level you're on, because you don't want to wait, and you don't want to take the time and repair from something, or wait for something that, because a lot of times you'll go after someone based on looks, and you'll see the signs. I'm telling you, I saw the signs from this guy, right off the bat, and I chose to stay in it just because, I don't know, the sex was good, whatever. There was nothing else good about him. He didn't have anything to offer me but that, period. And, and as a woman, that's kind of an important thing, unless you're a woman who hates sex, and I don't happen to be one of those. So,
That's awesome. Actually, I was in a discussion. Oh, my God. I had some time in between a few clients and everything today, and I was in a long discussion on Facebook about that very thing, about sex aspects. And no, Sean, I agree with you big time. And I don't want anyone to be with a monster whatsoever, either a woman or a man. I want you to be able to look at, and you mentioned, I want to go back a little bit. You mentioned about maybe not being able to look at yourself and the signs were there and maybe ignoring them. And I tell people, and you might have heard, listening to the show before and on Facebook, I mentioned about going with your gut instincts. And sometimes our heart, or maybe our insecurities, lack of confidence, whatever you want to call it, maybe our longing, craving to be loved,
or
we
your
forget.
Sex drive.
Or sex drive. Oh, yeah, baby. No, I can say no. I might not, you know what? I can say, ooh, wait, this is not about me now. But no, I'll say, okay, I don't like you. Get out in the morning. No, that's wrong. Sex shouldn't control a conscientious person. Daryl mentioned that.
It shouldn't.
No, I agree, big time. And there is a difference. You want someone that's going to connect with you soulfully, intimately, heartfelt with the sex. I'm all about that. I want great sex, passionate sex, but I want it to have meaning. I want it to have soul to it. Yeah, I'm a guy and I'm not BSing anybody. And I think, great sex, like you said, it can be there, but after a while, it's like, it's hollow. It gets, like something is missing big time, okay? And,
Right.
and mention that, a big difference, guys are good at making sex feel like love. I think the real smooth guys are able to do that, Shauna. And to mention that, or is it that you want it to feel that way?
Probably so. I think you want it to feel that way. I think you feel sad about what you lost, and so you turn that connection, that rebound, into something where you put everything you have into that sex with that person, knowing that you really shouldn't be with that person, but you're giving up a part of you temporarily in order to satisfy where you are currently, and where you are currently is kind of a sad place, and all you're doing literally is setting yourself back. You're setting yourself back from the person that you're really meant to be with, that can supply you with, that love and that connection that you really are meant to have. And I did that. I actually, was with this person for 9 months, and one day I was like, you know what, F you, get the hell out of my house, don't ever come back, and told him to hit the high road and be gone.
No, thank you so much for telling your story and admitting that. I think we've all, men and women, we both have been there. I've been there too. It's like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? And it could be maybe the sex was great. Why is that so true? Maybe Daryl can mention this on chat too. Why is it true the crazy, whacked out women are always the ones with the best sex? Why the hell is that? No. and you look at, I no. Well, it might be some truth to that. But you look at the aspects, when the trust is lost, Daryl mentioned this too, when the trust is lost and you are looking for someone else, do you think in the situation, Shauna, that in that situation, maybe I've been there too, where that you are looking for someone to heal those wounds? And maybe just, they're not healing, they're just covering up big time, right?
Right.
They're covering up, and all of a sudden, like you mentioned, you start selling yourself out, because I'll say, this part feels good, and I might feel, maybe go into it half-ass, or you look at the situation, like you mentioned, about selling yourself out, okay? I got to hear individual on chat mention that, I have to disagree. Some guys and women are good at it, but passionate, connected sex is very different from making love when you're both in love. Ooh. You know what? I do agree with that. You can have a passionate connection. That's huge, but I'm talking, you can have a passionate connection sexually, but it's different than making love when you're both in love. I agree with that, because you can have a great connection sexually, but outside the bedroom, countertop, whatever, bathroom van in the hood of the car, out in the front yard, whatever, that you can go ahead and have that awesome connection. But once you're done, it's like, But do you agree with that, Shauna?
Don't you think this is going to flip the switch a little bit in a whole different direction, and you can recorrect it back. But
no, you're fine. I do that with students all the time.
I think whenever, like, I'm watching what Chris is saying, and I'm watching what Daryl is saying. And,
Chris, thank you for letting me use your name and our name. So that's cool. Thank you. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Shauna.
I didn't know if you. Okay. All right.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She just did right before, like you read it on the chat.
She put it on there. I see that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm reading what they're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I really honestly feel like, I don't know about her story, but I do know Daryl's story, and I'm not going to go into his story. That's his thing to tell. But
no, that's.
I feel like when someone has been wronged, okay, that they are more likely to love deeper, feel deeper, and want to be connected to someone faster. And so it's really crucial for them to be very careful not to be so apt to jump into something, really quickly. And I think that when you're on that side of it, when you've been wronged, like I was wronged, you obviously, in my second marriage, after the rebound, The
Right.
recent rebound that I'm talking about was after my
Sure.
second marriage. And that only lasted about a minute. My minute marriage is what I call it. And he didn't wrong me by, cheating on me with another woman or anything like that. It was a whole different ball game. But I was still wronged in so many ways. And so you have this disconnect where you feel like you're just emotional and you want someone and you need someone or whatever. And so, the first person that comes along that fits a little bit of the criteria physically, then you jump
Right.
into the whole other side of it.
I
think
agree
it's
with
easy.
that. I think
Yeah.
you mentioned at the beginning of the show, and that ties in exactly what you mentioned, Shauna, was, and I think I mentioned as part of the respect factor. Once you lose that respect for somebody, I was talking with Daryl actually about that, about being like a doormat, always saying you're sorry, and I'm sorry for everything. You lose respect for yourself, but you also,
Right.
like you just said, you lose respect for your partner. And when you lose respect for your partner, you know what? It is so damn hard to get it back. And that is one thing I think, working with, thousands of couples over the years, that is one thing. Once somebody loses respect for you, that's still, to be honest with you, that is probably the hardest, almost impossible job to get that respect back. Someone might cheat on you, hurt you, but it's weird. You still almost have a respect factor, but it's almost like when someone keeps telling you they're going to do something they don't, they never follow through.
Right.
You lose respect, and it's like, then passion, desire, all that goes right down the toilet. So I agree with that. And do you think, Shauna, when we're hurt, and I agree with that we're looking for someone to fill that void and fall deeply in love with to make it feel better, and we sell ourselves out, and that's where I agree about taking a break from that situation. I have a client now in that very situation. She went from, a divorce, which it just got dropped on her. She had no clue. It literally had no clue. It just a matter of a week or two. And then sort of to heal, I'm fine, I just want to go out and have fun. She fell for another guy in a matter of a month. And she's in that situation right now. And, we're working on those aspects, trying to get her to gain the strength, whatever, to look at herself before she gets into another shitty situation.
Right.
And I agree. And my advice, what did you think worked for you to finally pull yourself and get where you're at now about being that conscious or conscientious, confident woman, Shauna?
What's really funny is that I kind of, I threw myself into my writing for one thing, into my passion, things that I'm passionate about, and, which was finishing my first book. And I, doing research, to be honest with you, and everybody's not going to be able to do the research because obviously they're not in the profession that I'm in or you're in or whatever. But,
right.
You can listen to what we did as research if you want to really get better.
Actually, Chris is too, believe it or not. Ha.
Well, that's great. So if you're in this profession to where your goal is to help people, their relationships, whatever, talk about sex and all of those things, then, you've researched. And so through doing my research, through taking a step back and listening to other people and their situations and their scenarios, I honestly got so numb to the pitches and the lines and listening to the guys come at me. I had guys coming at me left and right and, trying to ask me out.
Oh, hold on, Shauna. Wait. I meant to interrupt you, okay? So I'm not going to apologize. So you're telling all the listeners you're all that.
No, I'm not.
Come on, Shauna.
That's the whole point.
Come on,
That's
be
the whole point,
confident. Be that conscientious, confident woman.
But here's the thing. Okay, this is what
I'm
I know
playing.
now. Let me tell you what happened. And but you are right in a sense, because let me tell you what happened to me. What happened to me is that I found my value. And I realized, oh my God, I'm a talented woman. I'm an intelligent woman. I'm an educated woman. I'm a good mother. I used to be a good wife, when I was a wife.
Right.
I have a great profession. I'm living my passion. I'm living my dreams. I'm very vocal. I give my opinion. I stand behind everything that I say. I think before I speak. there are so many things that I have to offer a man as a woman. And so I realize that I have all of these things to offer. The one thing that I have that men try to go after first is obviously sex. So it's up to me whether or not I give that to everybody or just one person. And so
that's your choice, and that should be your choice.
So there's your value. Whenever you realize and you begin to look at yourself, no matter where you are, it doesn't matter if you're overweight. It doesn't matter if you have things that you need to fix. It doesn't matter if you're finishing school. It doesn't matter if you've never completed school. None of that even matters. You have to learn how to love yourself where you are currently, and I learned how to do that. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you know what? I love you. You're not perfect. You don't have the best this, the best that. But you know what? You're pretty damn good. You're pretty damn good. And you need to realize that. And that last person that you were with sucked rocks, and he didn't deserve to touch you, and you let him, and that's your fault. You can't wallow in it. You get past it. You move on from it. And the next person that comes along better damn well be worth you. He better be worth looking at, talking to, touching you, whatever, or he doesn't deserve to.
Well said, Shauna.
Does that make me sound like a bitch? Yes, it does. And I don't care. I'm okay with it. I'm okay if you make him a bitch.
Hold on.
I'm okay with that.
Well said. I want to, I don't usually play with sound effects that much because I usually screw them up. You look at the dynamics. No, I agree. It doesn't make you sound like a bitch at all. It makes you sound confident. And I think being a conscientious, person or being a conscientious woman, you can say that whatever, but I think there's a lot of women out there, and I'm going to say they're not conscientious, whatever. They believe all this, but they also, which is great, they take the stance, but of course, they have no faults. And I think a lot of them they put the wall up, they don't want to look at their faults, or they actually believe that they're all that. And I know you don't at all. There's a big difference, Shauna. You're able to take responsibility, look at yourself for your faults, but you also value yourself and, what you value and what you offer and what you hold in your life as a woman, as an individual, which is very cool. And I give you a lot of props, for that. And Daryl, just mentioned it's difficult to love yourself when you do not understand the loss of someone's attention, desire, or love. A person tends to focus on understanding why. And Daryl, I'm going to tell you, going on with this, and tied in with Shauna and being a conscientious, like conscientious person, not only a conscientious woman. There's sometimes there are no answers, right? I was out, first time I was a little hungover Sunday morning. But out Saturday night, and there's a guy, has money. I'm jealous. Good looking guy. I think he's in his I can't even think. Early 50s. I don't know him that well. Nice guy, well off. He worked, great guy, really nice guy. Never been married. And I look at it, and who I was with, a couple women there, and all this stuff were BS. And actually, one woman said, "Oh, Greg, you and I could be like Masters and Johnson." I said, "Oh, don't tease me." But you look at the elements, and I get it because he is one thing looking for, I think, perfection, and another thing that he has no game. He's a nice guy, but there's no pizzazz. There's no personality there. So going back with, what Daryl said, you can have, I'm all about Daryl. You looking at, okay, what did I do to cause this? Is it this? Do I need to stick up my game? Am I always, I'm always saying I'm sorry, I'm taking the hit for everything. Well, you see, women, no guy wants that in a woman unless you're a control freak. And no woman wants that unless she's a control freak. And it's pathetic. And you look at this, am I doing this? Am I able to speak my mind? When a lot of women, they go after the bad boys and all this stuff. But you look at the dynamics, a woman wants a guy to be a man. What I mean by that, and there's so many definitions of what a man is and all this, but to be able to speak your mind, you know what? To be able to say, no, you're wrong, I disagree with you, and being able to confront and stand your ground as a confident person, that is huge, okay? I agree. They see your loss of confidence as a weakness. Daryl, I agree. Most people, most women view confidence in a man as probably one of the number one things that they find attractive in a guy. Am I wrong, Shauna?
No, that's right.
And you can be confident, but that doesn't mean you have to be a jerk or you're arrogant. You know, you can still be humble and be confident at the same time. And that's where I try to get people to get to, you know, not only, you know, individual clients, but also with couples. I work with building an individual at the same time with the relationship, because my promotion, it might be, you know, this is my theory. I'm not saying I'm right or whatever, but it sort of works for my clients. But I want people to give 100% to the relationship, but I also want them to give 100% to themselves. That means you're able to speak your mind. You're not going to be dissed. You're not going to be disrespected. You're not going to be treated like crap. And you're able to speak your mind and say what you believe. You know what? I disagree with you, but you know what? I respect where you're coming from. Now, that is being true confidence, that you're able to look at yourself and be able to do that. And, you know, Daryl, going back to, you know, being a conscientious man, you look at, I'm all about people. Okay, what did I do to cause her? And I even asked this. And with couples, 85% of the couples I deal with, there's an affair. She cheated, he cheated, whatever. And I'll ask, well, what caused it? What was the reason they caused it? They weren't feeling loved, desired, craved, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'll get, you know, whatever. Greg, oh, right, you're saying it's my fault he stuck his dick in whatever. And quote, unquote, I get this off. No, that isn't what I'm saying. I don't condone or excuse affairs. I look at you taking responsibility. You know, what was going on? And this is part of that you can be confident enough to look at, okay, I did do this. Now, how can we mend it and work from here to rebuild the trust? And if you don't have confidence to do that and to look at and to set boundaries for yourself, people are going to walk on you. And it's in a way, and then people start bashing those people for walking on them. You know what I mean, Shauna?
Yeah.
They start, they start bashing. Oh, how dare you treat me like crap? How dare you talk to me like this? How dare you go out and overly flirt with all that? I can't believe, but they still tolerate it. It's like talk is cheap, the old age saying about, the bark is worse than the bite, because you're not setting boundaries for yourself and you're putting up with it. And a conscientious woman or a person is going to have the confidence enough to say, I love myself enough. You know what? I don't deserve this, so peace out. Not that it's easy. Not that it's, what do I want to say? Not that it doesn't hurt. Of course it hurts. But you have confidence enough to step out of that and not allow someone to treat you like crap. And if someone's treating you like crap and you're allowing it, I'm sorry, man. That's on you.
Right. Well, I just saw Daryl mention that, if they don't realize that they caused it. He was talking about your loss of confidence. And I understand where he's coming from, but I have to disagree because, whenever the kid's dad and I went through what we went through with the women that he, had affairs with and everything, I had lost confidence, but I can't blame that on him. My loss of confidence was my fault because I allowed myself to go through what I was going through. That's one of the things that I try to teach anyone that comes to me with their issues or their, concerns or whatever in their relationships, is that you choose whether or not you lose your confidence. No one can ever take that from you. As soon as you allow someone to have that much control over you, you're on a downward spiral. And so, but there's hope. It's a light switch. All you have to do is flip it and say, you know what? I'm not willing to do this to myself. I'm not interested in going through this. I'm not interested in entertaining it. I'm not willing to be a part of it. You go your way, I'm going to go mine. Now, I'm not saying, go get a divorce or anything like that. I'm saying that stand your ground, because here's my point of view. And I don't know if you agree with me or not, but whenever I finally stood my ground and said, I'm not willing to put up with any of your bullshit anymore. This is where I'm at. And, you go your way, I'm going to go mine. That's whenever he decided that he was going to try to stop doing what he was doing. Now, him stopping doesn't mean I have to stay. Him
Thank
deciding
you.
to quit doesn't mean I have to stay. I also gain more confidence and more speed towards my value by deciding whether or not I want to stay, and telling him, just because you want to stay, just because you want to fix it, doesn't mean I have to. Because there may just be too much damage from me. There may be a woman out there that can forgive you for sleeping with 20 women, but I'm not her. So you know what? I don't have to be her. I don't want to be her, and I'm moving on. So you go do your thing. I'm going to do mine. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for our kids. I'm moving on.
No, thank you, Shauna. And I hope a lot of women out there, and a lot of people in general, can learn from your words. Very wise, and I agree with that. And Chris mentioned, I want to touch on this, and this all relates, which is pretty cool. Excuse me. Women aren't allowed to be all that. In many cases, we have to degrade ourselves, or we are seen as overconfident, bitchy. Many studies on this, as I'm sure you're both, me and you, Shauna, too, are aware. I agree with that, but Chris, I agree to the image or the persona, if you will, which is the falsehood, is you look at that, and I don't think any woman should degrade yourself. You know what? There's a difference between being, aren't allowed to be all that. I think they are, and I agree. A lot of men, I wouldn't say a lot, some men are very intimidated by a very overconfident woman. Now, there's a difference between being overconfident, right, and, being confident and being all that, but also being humble and compassionate and caring and being understanding. And I love the part when Shauna mentioned, a long time ago about allowing the man to be the man, loving the man for who he is, about maybe the independence and all that aspects. That was awesome. And I promote that for both genders, not just men. But what Shauna said a while ago ties into that, where, I don't want you to degrade yourself, anybody. And I agree, there's many studies, men are intimidated by strong, confident women. But I think women, those women have a hard time. That overconfident, bossy, controlling, whatever. They also have a hard time being compassionate, being caring, being empathetic. That they can't be, what do I want to say, the holistic, the whole package, if you will. And I don't mean perfect. I'm not talking perfection. I'm talking those women that are overconfident. They're afraid, maybe in a way, or maybe they just can't be empathetic and compassionate towards friends, towards their man, whatsoever. So it's one way. They're all overconfident. They're all arrogant, if you want to say with that. And I agree with you big time on that, Chris. But I think a woman can be very confident, be sort of all that, and not be arrogant. There's a difference between being, there's a difference between being arrogant, being confident. Again, being arrogant, you're not going to have any faults. You're not going to have any mistakes. You're not going to admit your wrongs, whatever. And that's not being conscientious. A true conscious woman and a confident woman is going to be humble and be empathetic and caring about the world around them, and definitely her man and her friends and all this stuff. That she's going to be compassionate. It's not, let's just, that, you know what? That's your own fault. That's it. Suck it up, and that's all that. That is, that's a definition of a bitch.
Don't you think you can tell the difference, though, between those two types of women? There's the confident woman who has empathy and compassion, and then there's the confident woman who doesn't really like anybody but herself. And there's a big difference between the two. And that woman, tends to attract men who are very weak because that's the only men that she can control. The other woman who is confident and who is also empathetic and all of those things and compassionate, she attracts men who are strong but are equal to her or stronger than her because she needs a man. She understands that her desire is to have a man who can lead her and who she can let go of the reins in the home and let him lead her. And so there's a big difference. A woman who is the powerhouse, power trip type woman will only attract beneath her. She can't handle anyone equal to her or stronger than her because she has to be the boss.
Awesome.
So there's a huge difference, a big difference between those two type of women.
Yes, you and I are definitely on the same page with that, Sean. I agree big time. And I'm going to, give a sort of an example, and I should get advertising fees. As listeners out there, have you heard or watched Cougar Town with, from Friends? What the heck's her name? I got a brain fart. Oh, Courtney Cox. Thanks, Shauna. Yeah, thank you. With Courtney Cox, her friend is a bitch. The short, I can't remember her name. And she's like just what you described. And he's a doormat. You know what? That he's a doormat. And it fits right in your perfect description. She doesn't take blame with anything. I always bashing him, always ripping him, and he's like, "Yes, dear, whatever you want, dear," and it's pathetic. It's pathetic, and that it just caught my mind with that, and I agree with you a lot, Shauna, when it comes to that, and a lot of women, you will, and I think they'll get the yes, dear, and it comes back with the lack of respect, because a woman will not be able to respect a man that way. She might want it at first, but then she's going to get sick of it, and that's where a guy needs to start growing a pair. I'll say that. And Chris, Freud, that was not a Freudian slip. Woman, Daryl mentioned. Chris mentioned, too, degrade might be too strong a word, but we have to hold back. Even in the work. No, Chris, I understood that. No reason to, correct yourself. No, I totally agreed that, and I didn't take that over the top whatsoever, and I don't think the listeners did too. Even in the workplace, women say "I'm sorry" and "thank you" much more often than men, giving credit to someone else and apologizing. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's more of a challenge for us. Men are challenged in other ways. Okay, Chris, that was a shot at us. No. Are you saying we're mentally challenged? Yes, we are, and it's all women's fault. No. I agree, because a lot of women, I think, in the workplace, when there's when you're on the lateral level, I still see men apologizing, which is cool. And I don't know, Shauna, in the workplace, if you run into this too. And conscientious women in the workplace doesn't mean, the big battle, the big gender battle with that. And I want to look at, do you see that in the workplace as well, that you see the difference between controlling bitchy women in the workplace versus those that are confident and also polite and courteous?
Well, I saw, obviously, I was in financial services for 12 years, and being a financial advisor before I ventured into what I do now.
Oh, crap. I could use your help, Shauna.
I was one of the leaders in the office, and so one of the top producers and one of the top field trainers and all of that stuff. And so most of the time I actually managed agents that were men. And so I like to believe that I didn't have that bitchy, attitude. But I will tell you that in the very beginning, of course, that was back in, 2004 when I first started. I was a different person. I was pretty mean, I guess you could say. So there was a little bit of a difference between who I was then and who I became a few years after I had been in the business.
Right.
So, I was that bitchy woman who was very arrogant because I knew I was pretty damn good at what I did. I knew
There's not a lot of female bosses that are liked out there, are there, Shauna?
No, there's not. And so I had a lot of followers. I had a lot of people that flocked to me and a lot of people who were scared of me. And so I didn't like the feeling of people being scared of me. So I had, and I had to flip that into getting people to like me, to follow me, because I needed people to grow my business in order for me to be successful. So I had to change my paradigm and my thinking, and I became more likable. I became more softer. I became more lovable type person. I became more compassionate and empathetic to people's situations and needs. And growing in business as well as in my relationships helped me to change as a woman. And so I've been on both sides.
I think it helps. No, that's good, Shauna. Thank you. And I agree. I think that change also helps you, to believe it or not. It helps you in business and socially and in your personal life. I think it helps in both, because you can be empathetic, but you also are strong when you're not walked over, in the workplace. You're not being manipulated. You're able to speak your mind, but you're also mixing that with compassion. I think a lot of women in the workplace or that are managers, and the good managers have that empathy, have that compassion, but they also don't allow others to walk over them. And I see a lot of women, CEOs, clinical directors, oh God, don't even get me going, over the years, that oh my God, they're control freaks. They don't admit they're arrogant as hell, and they don't have compassion whatsoever. They're just downright mean.
Right. That used to be me a long time ago, and I realized, I wasn't going to make it in business. I was making it in business, but I wasn't going to make it the way I wanted to if I didn't change, and so I had to change. I didn't have a choice. If I wanted to become, successful on the level that I wanted to achieve, then I had to become a different person. And it was inside of me to be that way. But I kind of thought that being the bitch was the way to go, because I felt like, people would respect me more. But then I realized that when people actually saw how much I cared, then they cared what I actually thought. And so it made a big difference whenever I showed people that I cared about them. I cared about their families. I cared about their relationships. I cared about their kids. I learned their kids' names. I learned things about them. I showed up at their kids' games. Then they're like, wow, this is my boss and she cares about me. And oh my God, I'm going to go to that.
And how much does that benefit the workplace?
Right. Absolutely. And
Big time.
I had a huge organization for many, many years because of the fact that I changed.
Yep.
And some of those people, I don't work there anymore. I retired this past year from there. And those people are still my friends on Facebook. They still love me. They still like me. So I left them in better shape than I found them. And that's something that I'm always proud of, is leaving people in better shape than I found them, period.
Huge. No, good for you. It's awesome. And a lot of women, believe it or not, will never grow as you did. They will never evolve and grow as you did. They can't reduce. They can't, blend the two roles and be that holistic or, fully embodied, fully conscious, conscientious woman. And it's sad, it's sort of sad, because they're going to chase people away from them. And I want to go on, Chris mentioned big in live chat, big difference between assertion and aggression. I agree. Everybody has an aggressive female coworker or boss. She shuddered. Ew, I agree. This is something different. Women being allowed to be assertive. I agree, Chris. That's well said. There is a big difference between being assertive and being aggressive. And I think Shauna gave just an awesome transition or evolution in herself about just doing it, being from aggressive to more assertive. An assertive person can be assertive and be caring and be, compassionate, like she mentioned. That's awesome for her. And, Daryl mentioned on, the live chat as well, what does it tell you about a person's feelings if they are more concerned with what their reputation is with family or friends than their mate? You know what, Daryl? That is another battle I deal with in my office constantly, when their family, their mother, their friends, are more important than their partner, their lover. And this cuts across both genders big time. And I think Chris mentioned something about that, and I think she might have took that the wrong way, or maybe I am too, that it is. I agree those roles, being a mom and all that Chris mentioned, they can be confusing, and all of a sudden you start being a control freak in the workplace, and then, I like that, alpha female, and then you don't let go of it at home, and it's too hard. But going back to what Daryl said about, what happens if, the situation, I talk about this, long time ago in another show, you need to make your partner, and I think part of a conscientious woman and man for that matter, you are going to make your partner feel like you're number one. Now, I got to rephrase this, or not rephrase it, I need to step in here. When it comes to step families, it's a little more of a delicate balance. Actually, a lot more delicate balance, because especially, if she has kids, you have kids, or she has kids, you don't have kids, or vice versa, it's more of a delicate balance, and that's for a whole nother show. But, if you are, say, you have no kids or nuclear family, that is where you need to be number one, not your family, not your mom, not your friends, not whatever. And when you start doing it, your other partner will not feel important to you, because everybody else is more important, right? Your mom, your family, all this stuff. And they don't feel loved. They don't feel desired. They feel second, third on the list. And what happens? Sadly, you know what? Someone starts chirping in their ear, makes them feel better or whatever. And that craving becomes addictive. And an affair happens. Most affairs, believe it or not, they don't happen by intention. Again, I don't condone excuse affairs. I've said this a million times. But most affairs do not happen with the intent of having an affair. Someone pays them attention and makes them feel good, and all of a sudden you're craving. It becomes an addiction of the stuff you want from your wife, your husband, whatever, and all of a sudden someone else has given you that, and you're like, oh my God. So that starts... that's what happens. So, going back with, Daryl mentioned that. I agree. And a lot of people, and this can be a cultural thing, it could be whatever. And I get this across all cultures that, mom's number one. I have to do whatever my mom says. I use this as a reference, Think Like a Man, the movie. And it's funny, Mama's Boy, right? And I agree that you need to do what is best for you two as a relationship, and screw everybody else. I shouldn't say that. It's a delicate balance. And you need to set those boundaries. And this is you want to bring this up about being a conscientious woman or confident woman. You are able to say, Mom, you know what? I respect you. I love you, whatever. But this is my relationship. You need to butt out. Right. And how many people, and a lot of people, I can't do that. That's my mom. That's my whatever. And it's almost like you are playing that little kid role again and always trying to please mom, your friends, or whatever. And I agree. You need to look at, if friends look at you and say, you know what, he's an asshole, and one friend might say that, and all of a sudden you're hearing this from other people. I get that. There's some people that want the best for you. That's awesome. You need to look at that. I'm not saying that. But when they interfere and say, for instance, a relative always needs you and you're always running to them, and I'm not talking emergency on the deathbed and hospice. I'm not talking that. I'm talking maybe everyday stuff. They're always running. They're always needing you. You always run to them, but you're never there for your partner. And you want your partner to understand? You know what? Too bad. You need to have that balance. And if you don't, that person, you expect them to be okay with it. I'm going to tell you, they might be okay with that, but it's going to be a miserable relationship. And I never, ever promote people being in a lousy, miserable relationship or marriage or living as a martyr. Not so ever. You need to focus on you two as being the epitome or the top priority versus everybody else. kids and everything are different. Even if it's a nuclear family, meaning you got married, had kids, or oops, I'm pregnant, you decided to stay together, you still need to come first, not the kids. There's a delicate balance. That way, later on, the kids don't pit mom against dad, whatever, and you both feel loved, you both feel important, and you maintain that alliance together as a couple, and you won't have the issue later on. The kids leave the house or get older, and they don't want you around, teenagers, and you look at each other. Who are you? Who are you? You know what? You didn't give a crap. Now you give a crap 15 years later when the kids are older. Screw you. And I'm telling you, these are examples I'm giving you. I deal with on a daily basis. So being a conscientious woman is, and Shauna mentioned that about allowing, your partner, your man or partner to be who they are, but also commanding respect and not allowing them to treat you like crap.
Well, I think that if you lay out the foundation in the very beginning as to how things are supposed to be, and you are consistent with that, there are no questions. You both respect each other, and then whenever one of you crosses the line, you just reel them back subtly, and you talk about it, and you find out where they are, and if they realize that they did it, and you don't get angry or mad, you find out where you seek to understand before being understood. If they did it deliberately, then you discuss it. You find out if they're possibly going to do that again, and you deal with it. One thing that Daryl said, and Greg, I'm glad Daryl's on the line today, because I really honestly would like for you to address this really quickly.
Please.
He really thinks that, he said that affairs occur because, something's missing in the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. Most of the time.
I agree to an extent, okay? And this is where you may not agree with me. I honestly feel like, let's just say, for instance, let's go back to their dad and all the affairs that he had behind my back. We had a great life. We had 2 houses. We had the cars. We both had the careers. We had everything. We had money. We had beautiful children. We had sex every single day of our lives, sometimes twice a day. And he still cheated with so many women. And I really honestly believe to this day, only because of what he told me, he admitted to me that he was a sex addict. He said there was nothing that I could have done different that would have made him not do what he did.
No, I agree, Sean.
And so I want Daryl to understand that. Daryl is such a great person. I know him personally. I've known him since I was a teenager. And the thing is that you've got to understand, Daryl, that you probably couldn't have done anything different than what you did to change what has happened. And so you've got to quit punishing yourself, and you've got to let it go.
Daryl, thank you. No, Daryl, I agree. Shauna, I agree with you. And I want to chime in. Remember I said, Shauna, a while back that, and I mentioned, I talk about this almost every show too. And a while back in chat, remember I said 10 to 15% of affairs, they're either a hoe or a dog, and good luck to you?
Right.
Remember? And you're right, you could do everything. When you said having sex every day, 2 days, 2 times a day, I'm getting all hot and bothered, all this shit, and I need a cold shower, damn it. Thank you, Shauna. You look at the elements where I agree. You could do everything right. And we all know. Just go with me on this. It's not perfect, whatever. But like you, and they could be a dog or a hoe. And right. There's not a damn, and that's not about you. That is about them. And I'm glad you brought that up, Shauna. I agree. That is about that person, not about you. And I'm all about, checking ourselves and holding yourself. Okay, could I have listened better? Could I have been more attentive? Whatever it is, okay? Maybe stood my ground more and be more confident myself. There's all these things I want you to look at and look at, okay, this is dealing with couples in these situations that, this is, the foundation right from day one, the first session I'm working at. I don't waste a lot of time and to be able to work and build from this. But if it comes up where all the needs are being met and they still cheat on you, you know what? That's on them.
And a lot of times it doesn't have to mean that they're a dog or a hoe. It could just mean that they're a sick person that has such a huge hole inside of them that they seek so much attention. They may have damage from so many years ago that has nothing to do with you, that they're trying to fill that damage and that connection with people because they don't know how to fill it with themselves, and they don't know how to love themselves enough to not to fill that hole back up. So that damage that's been done, it has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they're trying to fill what's missing with something that can never be filled, which is sex. And it has nothing to do with you or what you did or what you could have done.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you to a point, Shauna. I agree. There are people like that, but not everybody in those situations are like that.
That's right.
Some of them could be, it's always they want that constant ego boost, and it could be from way back. I agree. I think some people are so damaged from whatever, being sexually abused, being neglected emotionally, physically, from, how they're raised, abusive. I dealt with too many abusive, sick situations when I used to work with kids years ago too, and I get it, I understand it, but I don't think everybody that is in that, because you're a dog or a hoe, I think there are people in those categories. They are because they were damaged, as you said, but I don't think everybody is in that situation. Does that make sense? I think there are some, and you have to take it as a case-by-case situation. Look at what is going, what is actually going on. And I agree, when you're looking at a sex addict, it's like anything other addiction. Is it a sex addict? Are they being late for work? Are they being missing work? There's other things that are going on. And I agree. Chris just mentioned a great one. People who have those narcissistic attachment issues aren't going to enter therapy unless they have something very big to lose. And even so, Chris, they might bullshit themselves with that, okay? Even then, it will be a major challenge to get them to admit they're wrong. Oop, I should have finished reading Chris. Sorry. Wrong. Even a little bit means they're the worst, dirtiest, ugliest person on earth. Chris, I agree with that. And they might not have the confidence or the courage enough to agree with that. Or you have the other people that are narcissistic and they feel that they're entitled. No matter who they hurt, they don't care. It's all about them. It's all about boosting their ego. It's all about, talking about histrionic women, it's all about constantly plugging, getting plugs, getting props for their egos to be boosted and about them. And those people, you won't see, they won't get help. They won't get therapy. Or if they do, if they're forced by whoever, partner, whatever, what's going to happen? They're going to be manipulating. They're going to be BS. They're going to go through the motion, and they could get you to suck in, and that's where there's a lot of crappy therapists, counselors out there. I've had many as my clients, and I've had some really good ones, too. Around the Metro Detroit area, there's some good ones, but there's a lot of crap ones that'll just blow smoke over everybody's ass. And, I feel good, and all this stuff. And they're not forcing the client to do any work and to look at themselves. And they're easily manipulated, and it's sad. But then you have other therapists out there that have no compassion or empathy for their clients, and those I'd like to just punch in the head. How do you like that coming from another professional?
Well, I really honestly, I hope that Daryl reads what the third comment down, which is what Chris had just posted. That's
what I was touching on. I agree.
Yeah, that goes right along with what, he and I have been talking about. And I honestly, hope this call, especially this show tonight, has helped him tremendously because he's, I think a lot of it is stuff that he needed to hear. But the main thing is that whenever, you're dealing with someone that's like that, you've got to understand that you can't take ownership for everything that happened. All you can do is worry about where you are right now, which is a lot of times you can't even worry about the past. You've just got to start moving forward from today because there's so much crap there that if you sorted through every single bit of it, you would be in it for years. And so wipe the slate clean, agree that it's over and done with, and just move forward. That's just the main thing. And start working on you, start regaining what you lost, what you allowed yourself to lose with this person.
Shauna,
And
that's, it's
work
great
on
advice,
you.
but it's not always easy to do, as you
Not
know.
easy.
And
It's not easy.
I want a huge bit of advice I'm going to give to Darrow, and I don't know if Shauna heard this before, and I tell everybody this. I am not, everyone talks about the power of forgiveness. You know what? I am not a huge fan. If you want to forgive, that's great. I'm not saying you don't, but I don't think you have to forgive to move on. I tell people, okay, Darryl, and I hope you're listening to this, okay? Put paper down, whatever. Don't go and chat anymore because I want you to listen to this. Okay. I ask people, can you be pissed at something you don't care about? Think about that for a minute. Most people can't. I can't. You don't care enough to be pissed about them, right? So what would it take for you, Darryl, to not care about what the hell happened in your past? You know what? She don't deserve you. Not being arrogant, but look at, you know what? I love myself enough not to waste my energy or time to even be upset or be mad or be hurt because I don't care enough. Again, it's not easy to do that. But you look at the concept about, you know what? I don't even care anymore because I love myself enough not to be sucked into that and give that person the power over me. You have a right to hurt. I'm not saying that, but I want you to look at the point where what can I do to get to the point where, I don't even care. I'm not giving that person that power over me, giving them that strength over me. I'm holding it where it belongs with me. I'm giving it back to myself. And sometimes, I agree, and Shauna mentioned too, that it might be just that person, and it's nothing you did. It's just you look at what is drawing you to them, and it's hard. A lot of it comes back to looking at matter of confidence and a matter of self-worth and what we deserve and what we're not, what we're not going to tolerate, what we're not going to put up with. And Shauna mentioned that, before about and her growth experience or evolution, if you will, over the years to look at, what, I can live with this, but you know what, I'm not going to tolerate and live with this. Be an addict, be whatever, someone that abuses, hits me, you can throw it out there, or treats me like crap, or is cold to me, is mean to me all the time, doesn't want to have sex with me, whatever, okay? Chris, you just mentioned you have to resolve the root issue. A lot of people, me too, spend a lot of energy on surface issue that cause a lot of distress, but the distress masks the bigger issue that we're protecting. Chris, you're right, and that's what I get to, and I agree with that to a point, but if we don't know what the root issue is, I don't think you have to spend a lot of time, if you really don't know what the root issue is, I don't think you spend a lot of time getting at that, okay? Meaning that confidence, looking at all that, but if you really don't know the root issue, I don't think you have to spend a lot of psychodynamic, psychoanalytic months and months and months digging at it. I think you can work on where you want to go from here and how maybe, how you're affected by it now and what you can go with this. And working with, I've worked with too many people with post-traumatic stress, trauma, rape survivors, sexual abuse, all this stuff. The past is important. And to look at that, and you look at, the main issue, I don't have the confidence or I don't have this, whatever. Now, what can we do to rebuild this? And how does the past affect you now? And what do we have to do to, move on and not let your past hinder you, let your past wreak havoc with you, if you will, okay? So I hope that makes sense. big time?
That does make sense. I think the thing, though, that
it's not easy.
Probably a whole other call because I know you're about to run out of time. But the thing with Daryl is that he wants her to tell him that it actually happened. He doesn't want to. There was a lot of signs and things, whatever, supposedly that it did happen. And it was all, written in stone kind of thing where he knows it happened, but he just wants her to admit it. She's never going to admit it because, like Chris said earlier, in order for her to admit it, she becomes this ugly person that, has to say, okay, I actually had sex with another man behind my husband's back. Her family finds out, her friends find out. Her whole thing that she's built up about herself has been torn down. It's okay if he knows, but if everybody else finds out, that's, so she's never going to admit it to his face or to anyone's face because, that just makes her look like a really horrible person. She's not ever willing to go there. She would rather save herself than save her marriage, and that's where she's at.
And there's so many people. Thank you, Shauna. I agree. And there's so many people. I got a couple. I saw him individually for about 2 or 3 times, and then he brought the wife in. She came in, same situation. She won't admit any wrongdoing whatsoever. And I tell people when affair situations, and if you need to know why it happened. You need there's got to be genuine remorse and guilt, and recommit it back to the marriage or relationship. And if one of those 3 things aren't there, it's going to be tough as hell.
Well, there's
if
3
not
things that aren't
impossible.
there for them,
Yep.
which means
and
those 3 things are missing, and it's not ever going to happen. And that's why I've told him
there will never be any resolve.
You've got to move on. The only thing you
have
do now, you can't worry about it. You can't think about it. You can't dissect it. You can't analyze it. It's over. It's done with.
You have to look at self-respect.
Right.
Having self-respect and self-love that, you know what, you deserve those things, and you're not going to, no, because if those things, you're BSing yourself that they're going to go away. They're going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Right.
And okay. Oh, yeah, Chris mentioned, you said that in your book too. Smiley face. Yeah, my book sees that total connection, achieving the emotional and sexual, ooh, baby, relationship you crave. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all that good stuff. And she meant, when I mentioned about psychodynamic, psychoanalytic, Freudian childhood crap. Yeah, actually, part of psychodynamic, Carl Jung, actually had some pretty cool stuff coming from there. But anyways, Shauna, thank you so very, very much. It's been awesome having you on the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you for letting me run my mouth.
No, Shauna, it's been awesome. Oh, my God, I'm very flattered. How's your book coming, by the way?
I actually just got off the phone with the editor earlier today, and we are trying to decide on the title for my first book. And then we're looking to have it on the shelf on March 3rd. And I'm actually
sweet.
I'm working on my second book right now, which has to do with the dating after 40, which has been pretty traumatic.
You know what? I saw that on your Facebook page.
Yeah, so it's been exciting. I've been doing some pretty cool research and, getting other people's point of views. I haven't really been on that many dates myself, but I've been.
No, that's okay. Make sure you don't. I'm going to give you a word of advice, and you probably know this, though. But what the hell do I know? Make sure you don't get too researchy, too clinical.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another. My book sales suck, to be honest with you. It is, oh my God, I talk to so many people. It's unreal, Shauna. I'm not discouraging you, not at all. I want you to go after it big time.
Well, I think you'll be quite surprised. My book is really, my first book especially, is very personable.
I agree. I'm not saying I'm hoping you do very well with it, and I'll help promote it too.
Well, I appreciate that. And my second time around is really just about the horror show. The things that we go through when we're out there looking and searching, and how to not be really surfing and let things just happen. It's kind of actually it's kind of a funny spin on
cool.
dating, I guess.
I'm all about funny and joking around.
Right.
Big time. And adding a little humor when it's appropriate. Yeah, I thought about doing a second book, whatever, but I need to, sales. Amazon's a big, it's a gorilla. It's a gorilla on your back, if you will. And I've talked to a lot of people, and it's one of those necessary evils, if you will.
Right.
I'm going to be doing
I'm
going to be doing a couple book signings coming up in January too. So there's some other avenues I'm looking into. But no, that's cool. And you got to let us know when that is out. I'll definitely. I'm going to give you. I'm all about helping other people too. I want to help you and give you a huge push for that. Daryl, actually, my book sees that connection. It is self-published. It's on Kindle, on Amazon, paperback and Kindle. So it's been out there, so that's cool. So I am going to say good night for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Chris, Shauna, Daryl, thank you so much for joining chat. And thank you, a huge thing for calling in, Shauna. I appreciate it. It made the show awesome. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, thank you. Everybody have a happy new year. Be safe, 2016. If you're going to have drunken sex, make sure you're protected. And,
I'm fixing to get to that right now. No.
Oh, boy. And we're not talking with yourself either. That don't count. Well, maybe it can count. So, yeah, I'm all about self-gratification, menage de moi, right? Everybody, be safe. Thanks again, everybody. Be safe. Happy New Year. Much love to you out there.
Okay.
And I'll be back live next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much. Everybody take care, okay? Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thanks, Shauna. Bye-bye. The Art of Relationships radio show is copyrighted. No one is to use any part of the show without express written consent from myself, Greg Dzinski, or The Art of Relationships. Thank you.